Right. Well, I'm not talking about for just anybody. I'm talking for people who are, that are pretty established in the guild.
Yeah, like I said, that'd be up to you and the officers. I'd say to figure out who's going to be the goalkeeper on that to make sure it gets paid back and stuff like that, and make sure there's not a hassle with it.
Right. Oh, and that reminds me. Speaking of you and officers, I was gonna ask if you would be interested in being one.
Vrabel?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind. I just, like I said, I finally have my computer set up. I just, like I said, I haven't been an active player, but, I wouldn't mind getting back and getting the raid and going again. I wouldn't say no.
Okay. 1 second though, I got a phone call. All right, sorry about that. Okay. I guess we're done talking about Guild Bank then.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add.
Okay.
Just real quick on the guild bank. Like I said, for me personally, like I said, you'll rarely ever see me take anything out of there. But like for raid mats, once I know we're raiding, I usually go out, get food, whatever, and stick those things in there, or I either bring raid food with me for the for the raid.
Oh no, that's what it's there for.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like I don't look for nothing out of it. I'll put mats in there, whether it's ore, whatever to help other, whatever materials I use for my professions. I'll stick stuff in there if it's needed and stuff. But like I said, for food, getting the meats and fishes or whatever, I'll farm stuff like that and keep that on hand just to bring it with me, so you don't have to worry about who did this, who did that.
Right. I mean, one of the things with me is a lot of times I'll go on there and say, okay, I can use this, I can use that, or for my professions, and I have no problem taking stuff out just for the fact that I put so much stuff in. I've put tons of gold in there and stuff like that. So. I know.
Yep, like I said, the only other thing with that is, if there's a lot of junk stuff in there, like everybody's saying, if you have someone that's dedicated, that's been well established in here and that has full access to all the tabs, whether there's, they can be the auctioneer or whatever to get rid of the low level mats and deposit the gold in, so that can be used to like buy, if we don't have a high level potion master or whatnot, if you needed something for raids, do it that way, and sell one item to buy another to put into the guild bank,
Right. Okay. Sorry about the pauses. I've got stuff going on here that I'm trying to take care of. My next question, though, is regarding what the direction the guild is going in terms of raid and PvP progression. Do you think we're going good, or do you think we should push harder, or we're pushing too hard, or what?
From my point of view, I don't know, because like I said, I haven't been on frequently since I joined the guild, but like I said, I'm going to try to change that. But like I said, you get a lot of PvPers, don't know what the raid status is. I've done one group thing last week. We got some people to do a quick OS run for the mount,
Which I got, by the way. And we need to do that again, right? Because I have to help everybody now. Wasn't that the deal?
Yeah, if you're going to get a group of 5 in, get everybody the mount, and then we can always rotate someone new in and get them, whoever wants them out, get them in.
Yeah, so we need to do that again. I think on the raids, we haven't really done very many, but it just seems to be everybody's schedules. And a lot of times, like, we plan it, and then people just don't show, which, I get stuff goes on, but maybe rather than just putting it down, we need to, as people are on, hey, we're trying to schedule something, what do you think about this time, this day, that sort of thing.
Right. See, my thing is I want to see if I can get certain people kind of doing more in the sense of like, okay, this person kind of does more for raiding, this person does more for PvP, but at the same time, I don't want there to be just like the problem I saw before. We said, okay, we're relying on this one person for this, and then when they, if they aren't there or something, it's like, okay, the whole guild has hung up. Like, no, we want enough people to be in charge of enough of that to just say, let's just get this thing going and keep it going, regardless. But one of the things that I'm thinking of is I'm not trying to say that we have to compete with other guilds or we're trying to please other people, but at the same time, there is the thing with raid progression and things like that people actually look at and say, okay, that is kind of a thing for the guild to show that it's functioning, as you might say.
Right, I agree. People go on Armory or whatever and see what you've done, so.
Right, and I really hate to make a reference to a Mel Gibson movie, but if you look at Braveheart, they could Wallace could have had his guys just kind of do like a guerrilla warfare, as you might say, and just kind of hide out in hills and take out the English that way. They would have been able to do it that way. He knew that, but he wouldn't have gotten all the other people to rally behind him if unless he showed them, yes, we can do this on the battlefield kind of thing. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do, is just to say, hey, we're not just a bunch of a few people just kind of doing our own thing. We're we're out there. Mostly just again, this is not to try to say like we have to be a certain way. It's just to try to get more of the right kind of people in.
Well, like I said, I've been being good.
I'm not saying you're not.
Making a joke, like with the trolling and whatnot.
I know. I'm not saying anyone has been bad. I'm just what I'm saying is we could use more raiders, more PvP. Always use more of it. But that kind of goes into my next question of recruiting. Do you think we're doing enough recruiting wise, or do you think we should start spamming trade, or what?
Well, I mean, again, like I said, if we're looking for rating to see what we have to put a first 10-man core together, see what we have from there, and depending on other people's alts, see if we have a viable second raid. I mean, that ends up being the big issue I notice there is, getting a core 10 is always the easiest, and then you'll have 4 or 5 other people that are relying on, they're not in the core 10, but they're relying on 4 or 5 people from the core 10 to have an alt in the time to get 2 full runs in a week,
Right.
I mean, obviously, you definitely want, at least 2 10-mans up and running of individuals, and, from there, you're going to try at 25, pug 5 people, that you know.
Right.
Like I said, this is I've been an officer in other guilds. One of the longest guilds I was in, Black-Hearted, I was an officer there, and then also I was class leader in We Who Dare, for Death Knights. Because back when I was serious about it in Wrath of the Lich King, I was like top 6, 7 DK on the server.
Okay. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We need more people like you.
Yeah, like I said, Luzzy was a very selective guy, and I had a reserve spot in his 25-man ICC.
Right, and again, this is nothing to take away from the people who aren't hardcore raiders or who aren't real knowledgeable about the class and things like that. It's just to say that we have certain spots to fill, and that's what we need. It's not that we are trying to look at these people as better or worse than anybody.
Right, no, exactly, and that's one thing you'll never ever see me do. I may like pick on someone like Fatal Demise just because he's a goober, but I don't bash any player and say, hey, you're a scrub, hey, you're a noob, you don't know what you're doing. Slazer vouched for me there. I've talked to him about do this, do that, especially about the necessity of having 2 sets of PvE and PvP set.
Right. Now, I'll be the first to admit I have done I've raided, and I've done raided battlegrounds, and now with this guild I've done